The first time Leon saw the royal envoy of the Lithari Empire, he stood at the edge of the human delegation platform with his helmet tucked under his arm. He had been briefed that the Lithari were a species defined by radiant biology, luminous markings, and elegant movement, but he had not expected the reality to feel so powerful. The envoys arrived in a shimmer of light from their vessel, stepping down with quiet dignity. Near the center of the group walked a figure who moved with a grace that looked almost unreal. Her presence pulled Leon's focus like gravity. She was the Lithari princess, known among her people as Arya. Her form glowed softly from patterns flowing across her skin like drifting constellations. Her hair floated in thin strands, as if touched by currents of energy even in still air. Her eyes shimmered like shifting silver. Leon had seen many worlds and many beings during his military assignments, but nothing had prepared him for this. Arya stopped when she noticed the humans watching her with awe. Her expression remained calm, regal, unreadable. Leon's commander stepped forward to issue greetings, and the formal exchange began, but Leon barely heard the words. All he could feel was the strange pounding in his chest as he looked upon someone who seemed carved from a dream. Their mission was simple. A crisis had struck a region of Lithari space. Humans had been invited to join a task force as neutral partners. Leon, a guard assigned to the security detail, had been chosen for his reliability and calm. He prided himself on staying focused, yet the moment he saw Arya, his mind felt shaken in a way he did not understand. Over the next few days, the combined teams worked aboard the Lithari cruiser. The human delegation was offered quarters near the central deck. Leon accompanied them each day, moving through long corridors lined with shimmering walls. Whenever the group passed near the princess, Leon felt the quiet hum of her presence. She was often surrounded by advisors, yet she always seemed aware of everything around her. When she turned her gaze toward him, he felt a jolt of something warm and unnerving. He told himself it was admiration. Nothing more. One evening, after a long strategy meeting, Leon found himself walking alone through the observation hall. He needed quiet. The hall was massive, lined with transparent walls that looked out into a sea of shining nebulae. The swirling colors gave the impression of standing inside a living painting. He exhaled slowly, letting the calm wash over him. Then he heard soft steps. Arya stood at the far end of the hall, alone for the first time since their arrival. The colorful light washed across her form, making her markings glow more brightly than usual. She looked almost ethereal. She had not noticed Leon yet. She seemed lost in thought, her gaze fixed beyond the glass, as if trying to read the future in the folds of starlight. Leon hesitated. He considered leaving, but something in her stillness made him pause. He took a single step forward. She turned her head slightly, acknowledging him in silence, and then faced the stars again. It was not proper for him to speak first, yet he could not stop himself. "It's beautiful," he said softly. "This whole view." She looked at him now with full attention. "It is a place I often come to reflect," she said. "Your kind values open spaces, if I recall correctly." "Does this view bring you peace?" Leon nodded. "It does." Arya regarded him quietly. Her gaze felt like a soft glimmer passing over him. "I have wondered what peace means to humans," she said. "So many described your species as restless, driven by curiosity and conflict. Yet I sense something different in you." Leon felt warmth rise in his face. "I'm not sure I'm the best example of humanity," he said with a small smile. "I'm just a guard." "A guard who watches carefully," she said. "A guard whose presence steadied the meeting today when others grew tense." Leon blinked. "You noticed that." "I notice many things," she replied in her quiet melodic voice. "The emotions of a room affect the energy around us. You help stabilize it." He did not know how to answer. No one had ever spoken of him in such a way. Arya turned back to the stars. "This crisis will test many bonds," she said. "Our people fear what lies ahead. I fear it as well, though a princess should not admit that." Leon stepped a little closer, careful not to approach too quickly. "Everyone fears something," he said. "Courage doesn't mean being unafraid. It means doing what you must even when you are afraid." She looked at him again with a glimmer of surprise. "That is a very human way of thinking." "Maybe," he said, "but it's also true." They stood in silence for a moment. The nebula outside pulsed with shifting light. Arya's hair drifted gently, as if stirred by unseen cosmic winds. "You come here to think," Leon said. "What were you thinking about tonight?" She hesitated. "Responsibility," she said, "expectation, and the question of whether I am prepared for what my people need from me." "You seemed prepared in the meeting today," Leon said, more than anyone else. "That is the role I must perform," she answered. "But inside, I feel threads of doubt. I wonder if others would lead better. I wonder if I am worthy of being the symbol they look to." Leon shook his head. "Everyone doubts themselves sometimes. But from where I stand, you lead with calm and fairness. That counts for a lot. Do you truly see me that way?" she asked in a soft voice. He swallowed. "Yes." Her eyes softened. "Thank you." They fell into a comfortable silence, watching the swirling lights outside the window. Leon could not believe he was standing beside someone like her. There was no protocol for moments like this. No training for how to speak to a being whose presence felt both fragile and powerful. "Do humans often speak with such sincerity?" Arya asked suddenly. "Not always," Leon admitted. "But sometimes the truth just needs to be said." She considered this. "Then may I also speak truth? You look at the stars with a longing I do not often see. You carry a gentle strength. Not loud, not boastful. Simply present. It is rare." Leon felt something in his chest tighten. "I'm just doing my job." Her expression warmed. "You undervalue yourself. Many of your people do." Leon exhaled slowly. "Maybe. But when I look at all this, and at your people, I feel like I'm part of something bigger. It makes everything worth it." Arya turned her gaze away for a moment. "You are unusual among humans," she said. "Many who travel the stars become hardened. You have not." Leon smiled faintly. "Maybe I'm just stubborn." She tilted her head, studying him. "Perhaps." A signal chimed through the hall, announcing the end of the observation period. Arya straightened with quiet grace. "I must return to my advisors." "Thank you for your company, Leon." He bowed his head slightly. "Any time, Princess." As she walked away, her glowing form moved like a drifting star. Leon remained in the hall long after she left, unsure how to calm the rush in his heart. The next day brought urgency. The task force detected hostile vessels approaching a fragile outpost. The Lithari ship went into alert mode. Leon was assigned to the princess's escort as she moved between command stations. Alarms pulsed along the corridor walls. Advisors rushed to analyze data. Arya moved with steady composure, though beneath her eyes, Leon sensed a flicker of tension. When they reached a strategic chamber, Arya paused. "We will need to negotiate or risk greater conflict," she said. "But the prevailing sentiment among my commanders is to respond with force first. Do you think negotiation will work?" Leon asked. "I do not know," she admitted. "But violence may lead to consequences we cannot afford." The doors opened. Inside, several Lithari commanders waited. The discussion was heated. Some argued that the approaching faction respected only power. Others urged caution. Arya listened, absorbing each point. Leon observed her, noting how she steadied the room with quiet interjections. At one moment the debate escalated. A commander raised his voice. Tension rippled across the chamber. Leon stepped forward subtly, grounding his presence just as Arya had once praised. The energy stabilized again. She noticed. She gave him a small, grateful nod. Finally, she spoke. "We will attempt negotiation first," she declared. "Prepare a channel. If they reject peace, we will defend ourselves. But we will offer the chance first. It is the only path that honors both wisdom and strength." The commanders bowed in agreement, though some looked uneasy. Communication was sent. The hostile party responded with suspicion, but not immediate aggression. A fragile line of dialogue began. Hours passed. Reports flowed. Questions were exchanged. Bit by bit, the tension eased. The conflict did not vanish, but the immediate threat receded. When the final transmission ended, Arya exhaled a faint sigh. The commanders dispersed. Leon approached her as she stood alone near the display. "You handled that well," he said. She gave him a tired but genuine smile. "I am learning. Step by step. You did more than learn. You guided your people toward a safer future." Her gaze softened. "You speak as if you believe in me more than I believe in myself." "Maybe I do," Leon said quietly. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she stepped closer. Her luminous markings glowed slightly brighter. "Tonight," she said, "I would like to return to the observation hall. Will you accompany me?" "Yes," Leon answered without hesitation. They walked in silence through the ship. When they reached the hall, the nebula shimmered like an ocean of living color. Arya stepped to the window. Leon stood beside her. The light painted her features with soft radiance. "Thank you for today," she said. "Without your steady presence, the room may have lost its balance." "You would have held it together," Leon said. "Perhaps. But your presence made it easy."